Hey, baby.
Yeah.
I'm going live.
Going live.
I'm going live. 'Tis true, 'tis true. I'm going to see if anybody is on the live stream tonight. Who might be on the live stream tonight? Hang on. All right, so chat is enabled. So much fun working through these technical issues. And let me see if we have anybody on the live stream tonight. Oh, there's, hey, Judy, Tim, Stan, Livio, Brandon. Hey, everybody, how's it going tonight? Your average Joe there is on. Larry and Jim, Deplorable BR, Jill and Cynthia and Ruth and Kim and Linda. Hey, what's up, everybody? Yes, someone's noticing my my well-shaven head. Honey, would you do me would you do me a favor? Can you turn the light toward, because my color is really yellow without that light on me.
Oh, this other light.
Yeah.
It's on.
Sorry about that. I'm looking a little jaundiced. I don't have liver failure, I promise. I'm okay. You can turn that one off. Oh, now I'm really going to look nice and
How is it?
natural light. Hey, I have a stagehand here. She's getting me all set up. All right. Now I look like your average pasty white guy who doesn't have liver problems.
I can't even see your video.
You can't see the video? Are you on... You're on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my helper over there is trying to figure out what's going on. And I am here to give you a little bit of news for the day and some other secret stuff we're not going to talk about because YouTube people are monitoring, and I'm going to give you a surprise, okay? Say that. News. I ran into an interesting article. You know what? Let me do this real quick. I'm going to show you my Twitter screen. This is an article from Motherboard, the Motherboard page on Vice.com. And it is, the title of the article is, I gave a bounty hunter $300, then he located our phone. So it's an article about AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile selling access to their customers' location data. Right? So they have a legal right to sell their data to certain groups, certain organizations. Those organizations and entities then resell that information to people like bounty hunters and really anyone who's willing to pay for it, including potentially stalkers and people that want to harass you. It is a very interesting article. I would recommend checking into it if you're interested in that sort of thing. All right. Let me go back to my video so you can see my face again. Interesting story out of Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe in 2009, because of hyperinflation and some very bad government monetary policy, they actually abandoned their currency in 2009 and they switched to a combination of the dollar and several other currencies. Well, they're running out of hard currency in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of money that's in banks. There's not enough currency to allow that money to be taken out. So Zimbabwe is going to try to issue new currency sometime in the next 12 months. That is likely to be a debacle. Zimbabwe has a lot of problems, and we'll just have to see how that works out. But I like keeping up on kind of financial news, and that is one story that's out there. All right, let me find my next news story. Interesting, I just saw this afternoon. One man is dead. 14 people have been hospitalized in an apparent mass fentanyl overdose in Chico, California. It all came out of one residence. Sounds like they were having a party there. And it got out of hand, and like I said, 14 people are in the hospital. 4 of them are in critical condition. 1 person is dead in apparent mass fentanyl overdose. And the president has been talking about the issue with drugs coming across the border, with fentanyl being a huge problem. Fentanyl is a massive problem around the country, and this is more evidence of that. News story. It was on ABC's This Week program. ABC News chief news correspondent Jonathan Karl was interviewed about his impressions on the Mueller investigation. He has apparently talked to a couple of people who have information about what's going on inside the Mueller investigation, and Karl said that the Mueller investigation is likely to be a big letdown for people who are hoping that Trump is going to be charged or indicted. He is already kind of letting people know this is probably going to be a big nothing burger. So Trump haters are in for some bad news if and when this Mueller investigation ever wraps up. And we knew that. We've known that for a long time. The fake news has actually known that, but it was their job to keep people's hopes up, optimistic that Trump would eventually be impeached or charged with something, and that's just not going to happen. News story out of Utah at a shopping mall. 2 people have been injured, and there are 3 suspects that were at large in this shooting at a mall that police say was probably gang-related. That story I posted 2 hours ago just came out. A California judge has blocked the enforcement of a rule by the Trump administration that would allow some employers to opt out of providing women with free birth control. Just a few employers have asked for the option to not have to, under mandatory rules, offer birth control for their employees, mostly due to religious and moral objections. Well, California judge has blocked the enforcement of that rule. The preliminary injunction will affect 13 states: California, Oregon, Washington, I think Alaska, California, or Hawaii, and several other states. It's not going to be a nationwide effect, just 13 states. And that'll likely be appealed. For those of you who are interested in the Rothschilds, the wife of investment banker Jacob Rothschild, Lady Rothschild, is reported to have died today at the age of 84. Found this on an interesting story coming out of the Washington Examiner. Russia has threatened to retaliate against the UK following statements that were made by Defense Secretary Gavin Williamson, who is a bit of a hawk, when he predicted that the UK would play a more prominent national security role around the world following their exit from the European Union. So Gavin Williamson, anticipating that Brexit is going to happen, feels that they'll be beefing up their military presence in some places in the Caribbean and in Africa. And Russia wanted to let them know, if you do that, there may be consequences to that. So saber rattling. I don't know that it's all that relevant, but it's out there. Wanted to throw it out for you. Let's see. U.S. Ambassador to Germany, Richard Grenell. Grenell is a very solid Trump supporter. He is one of Trump's best surrogates and allies. He has been making Europe angry ever since Trump appointed him as ambassador. He sent a letter to several businesses in Europe, reminding them that any company operating in the Russian energy export pipeline sector — there are several pipelines that are coming across from Russia and Ukraine over into southern Europe. Grenell has reminded them any company involved in the pipeline sector is in danger of U.S. sanctions being placed on them. And Angela Merkel pushed back and said that energy policy in Europe should be made by Europeans, not by Americans. However, we do have sanctions that are available that are related to Iran and Russia, and I think and Syria as well. So have to see how that goes too. But Trump obviously wants to be able to export liquid natural gas to Europe. Pipelines coming in from Russia to Europe would cut into that. So, like I said, we'll have to see how that happens. Interesting story out of the Washington Times. And this is just something to think about, something to pray about, actually. So we're into, what is it, day 22 of the government shutdown. It's the longest government shutdown, I think, in history. And even if the border wall issue is mitigated, and if Trump and Nancy Pelosi are able to come to an agreement on the border wall, there are still a lot of other issues that are likely to keep the government shut down. Democrats have put into their proposed funding bills lots of icky little things that Trump and Republicans are likely to not like very much. And it involves funding abortions overseas, mainly down in Central America. There's funding of a lot of things that Trump either doesn't want funded or that they have proposed way too much funding for. So just a good reminder that even if the border wall issue gets settled, there's still a lot of other issues between what Democrats want in the House, what people want in the Senate, and what Trump will pass. This could be a very, very long shutdown. I think we need to be realistic about that. And we need to be in prayer about that. I don't know what God's plan is for the shutdown, but we do need to be in prayer about that. The President made some remarks today about Turkey. A lot of people are concerned that Erdogan may attack Kurdish allies of the U.S. when we pull out of Syria. Well, Trump vowed to unleash economic destruction, basically, on Turkey if they attacked Kurdish allies after the U.S. pulled out of Syria. So Trump is letting his enemies know, and his friends and allies know, how he stands. So Erdogan has been put on notice. If he tries to pull anything crazy after we pull our troops out, it's not going to go well for him. Let's see. Lindsey Graham was in an interview today, and he reminded Chuck Schumer that the Democrats' decision by Harry Reid to change the rules regarding Senate confirmations is going to come back and bite them when Trump nominates his next Supreme Court justice. They have all been expecting the Democrats, a moderate, to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Lindsey Graham said that isn't going to happen. He is going to make sure that it is a conservative, and he's going to make them feel the pain for changing the rules on the Senate confirmation. So good news, I think, on that front. Lindsey Graham, I think, now that he's the chair of the Senate Judiciary, I think he will be a good person to have in that spot. He's already having some fun with Chuck Schumer, so it's a good sign. All right. Hey, how about if we do a little of this? Are we cool with a little bit of this? Shh, don't tell YouTube. All right. We had some Q drops today. I'm doing this covertly, so hopefully YouTube won't smack me too hard. We're gonna put this in at the end of the news. Q posted today a couple of drops. This first one is there's a link to an article. It's an older article from February. Let me show you that one. It is about former CIA Director John Brennan and the likelihood that he could be charged with perjury for lying to Congress about his involvement in Spygate. So Q posted a link to that article and then wrote, the Dems House focus on the president equals insurance extension from Mueller to the House. GJ grand jury testimony is underway in several states. Attempts to block and protect themselves will fail. Far beyond political corruption and sedition, law governing the removal of a sitting congressman. M/W senator, congressman, congresswoman, or senator. Lights on. Q. So Q is asking, what are the rules regarding removing sitting congresspeople and senators? The fact that the Dems are now focusing on Trump, and like Adam Schiff has promised that he is going to put Trump under the microscope. They're threatening to go after Trump's taxes. All of this attack on Trump in Congress is designed to transfer the bad light, the negative light that Mueller investigation has had on the president, now that the Mueller investigation may be wrapping up. Okay. Q says their attempts to block and protect themselves are going to fail, far beyond political corruption and sedition. It's way worse than that. We're talking treason, and we're talking a lot of other things. So we know that U.S. Attorney John Huber's team is presenting evidence to grand juries around the country regarding deep state corruption, including evidence of crimes committed by people like John Brennan, former CIA director. Q has suggested a second unnamed U.S. attorney has been given that same mandate. Now, some people think they know who that U.S. attorney is. A lot of people think it's an U.S. attorney out of Little Rock. I am not certain that we know that person's name. I don't think anyone is supposed to know their name because I think their assignment is supposed to be covert. And so that is ongoing. In an interview last night with Jeanine Pirro, if you did not catch this interview, check it out on YouTube. It's actually really good. She does about a 15, 20-minute conversation with the president over phone last night. And one of there's several bombshells that came out of this interview with the president last night. He said, just wait and see how this is all going to turn out. To which Jeanine really didn't say a whole lot, but he seemed very excited for us to know how it's going to turn out. Let me see if I can play this audio clip for you and you can hear it. I'll turn the volume up.
I mean, we're doing a great job, and I like doing it. And then we get involved with a Russian hoax, or whatever you call it.
Distraction.
It's one of those things, but I love doing it, the whole thing. But this will turn out to be very important because people are going to be exposed that nobody ever thought possible. I mean,
So Trump says people, and this is related to the Russia investigation. Trump says people are going to be exposed that nobody ever thought possible. All right. So Trump is signaling to us that things are happening and people are going to be exposed and people are going to be prosecuted that nobody ever thought possible. So if you think nothing is happening, things are definitely happening. And if criminal activity at the highest levels is exposed but it isn't prosecuted, rioting would ensue. That is not an acceptable alternative. Corrupt people are going to be exposed. It's just logical thinking. Trump would never allow those people to be exposed and then not do anything about it. He's not that kind of person. All right. Q wrote, what is a law regarding governing removal of a sitting Congress, MW, man or woman, senator? This will probably upset some people, but there are no federal statutes or rules in the House or the Senate that directly affect the status of a member of Congress who has been indicted for a crime that constitutes a felony. All right. These are documents that I just looked up. This one's for the House. This one's for the Senate. Except for treason, there is no automatic removal of a member of Congress for indictment or conviction of a felony. There has to be formal action. If the person is a representative and they're in the House, or if they're a senator, it's in the Senate, that chamber of Congress has to vote in a 2/3 majority to expel that member from the chamber. That is how you remove somebody if they've been convicted. So Q is suggesting that people in Congress are going to be convicted. I think that's what that drop is all about. It's giving us a hint that things are happening. And Q finished that post with lights on. All right. Charlie Kirk noted that Democrats have developed a way to get taxpayers to fund their campaigns. They vote for taxpayers to fund organizations like Planned Parenthood, and those organizations donate taxpayer money to their campaigns. Here's his tweet. Planned Parenthood spends $30 million to help the Democrats win back the House. Yet we, taxpayers, still give them $500 million in taxpayer funding a year. If they have that kind of cash to engage in that blatant partisan activity, why am I forced to fund them with my money? So Q posted a link to his tweet and posted a drop from November 3rd, the D Party Con. When you can't raise money organically through party individual donations, voter base, you steal it from American taxpayers and give it back to yourself in the form of campaign contributions. Example 1 is Planned Parenthood. $1.5 billion was provided in taxpayer funding over a 3-year period to Planned Parenthood. Right? So Charlie Kirk said they got $500 million for 1 year. Q says they actually got $1.5 billion over a 3-year period. Planned Parenthood then spends $30 million disclosed. The real estimates are closer to $65 million in taxpayer subsidies to influence the outcome of elections. Q writes, fake news control over those who do not think for themselves, limits exposure of the truth, the D Party Con Q. And that is all we have for the Q posts. That is all I have for the news. Honey, that was pretty.
Want to take any questions?
Well, I can look in the in the chat and see if there are any questions I can take. Let me look here. Hard to actually see the. Oh, there we go. I'm just looking through the chat to see if there's any questions that I can take. I'm not seeing any questions that I can answer. What can you be praying for us about? Pray for us to have wisdom about how to move this broadcasting platform forward. God has been pretty good at giving us some direction, but we could definitely use some prayer as far as direction goes. On what God wants us to do with this, the news and the Q information. So that we would definitely help. We would ask for prayer for that.
Somebody asked earlier, what does Q mean exactly by returning the power to the people? And I think that,
what does Q mean by returning power to the people?
It means we're gonna revolt and we're gonna be violent.
No,
that kind of thing.
It means, I think what Q means by returning power to the people is taking the power away from the global elites, the Rothschilds, George Soros, and the billionaires and trillionaires who control our politicians, and the politicians enact legislation that is favorable to the ultra-wealthy elites. Okay? Those people are actually in control of government. Government was designed for us, common people, to elect leaders. They're responsible to us. We hold them accountable, right? They're supposed to be accountable to us. Right now, politicians have been accountable for the last 100 years to very wealthy, corrupt elites, global elites. All right, when Q says return power to the people, Q is saying we get rid of these wealthy, corrupt global elites, and we return the power of government to the people, where they are accountable to us and not these wealthy people. So hopefully that explains that a little bit. Have I thought about starting a newspaper in case the internet goes down? I haven't.
I actually have.
Denise says that she has actually thought about that. I didn't know she was thinking about that. We could do a newsletter, although that would require the internet. Printing a newspaper and then getting it out because the internet goes down. I don't know. That's a bit old school. But if the internet does go down, we may have to do some old school things. I've actually had some prophetic dreams about that. What about General Kelly and General Mattis and Jeff Sessions at Gitmo? I have no revelation on that. I know a lot of people think that some people who have left government are awaiting to do the trials done in Gitmo. I can't really comment on that. I haven't seen any evidence of that. I will say this, as far as the military tribunals go, there are currently military trials going on down in Guantanamo Bay, but they are involved with the 9/11 terrorists. There isn't any reliable information to suggest that anyone from the deep state is currently being prosecuted at Gitmo, contrary to what some people have put out on the internet. Electoral college is safe. Look, Dems would love to get rid of the electoral college. I don't think it's going to happen. The Senate will not approve getting rid of the electoral college as much as the Dems would probably want that to happen. Any revelation on Pence? Yes, I actually have had some dreams about Mike Pence. The dreams that I've had about Mike Pence show that he can be trusted. He is an honorable man, and I believe he is heavily involved in the Q operation. Actually, Pence tweeted out something the other night, and his final little comment was, "The world is watching," which Q has said a number of times. So I personally believe Pence can be trusted. I think a lot of people are going to have to apologize for the things that they have said about the vice president. That's just my personal opinion. Is Ruth Bader Ginsburg alive? I don't know. There's a lot of theories going on. There was a very interesting tweet from Comey yesterday about To Kill a Mockingbird. It was playing at a theater, and he took a picture of To Kill a Mockingbird, I guess, at a theater, and he said some line about that and said, "All rise." Well, To Kill a Mockingbird is about the court system and a particular hero who stood for justice. And in the eyes of a lot of people in the deep state, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is one of their heroes. And then Comey finishes his tweet, "All rise." Well, all rise is what a bailiff says when a judge comes into a courtroom. So some people are wondering if Ruth Bader Ginsburg has actually died and Comey was signaling to the deep state that she is dead. And Joe M., honey, I don't know if I told you this dream, but the storm is upon us, Joe M. He tweeted about that yesterday. He was the first one to pick up on it. I had a dream about Joe last night.
Oh, cool.
He was leading the movement with some cryptic messages, and I didn't understand the fullness of what he was trying to convey to people. But I knew in the dream that I was just supposed to follow his lead because he was right on. And I didn't understand it, but I knew in the dream I had to follow his lead because he had some understanding that nobody else had. So I thought it was very interesting that he posted that last night, and I had a dream about him last night. So it's possible. We don't know what is up with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't want to speculate too much. It's impossible to know with any certainty. Okay, this
You can't give investment advice.
Yeah, Nona says, "Dave, I'm a widow. Do you think I should take my husband's 401k and pay off the house to be out of debt despite the high taxation on that amount?" I cannot give investment advice. I'm not an investment person. I'm not a financial counselor analyst. So yeah, I wish I could answer that question, but I really can't. What is up with the Fed? We'll have to wait and see what's up with the Fed. Not certain. Do more Supernatural Saturdays, says Mama Ski. I will do more Supernatural Saturdays. That turned out to be a pretty popular video yesterday. It's almost like 80,000 people watched it. So I will definitely do more Supernatural Saturdays. Thanks, Mama.
Does Denise ever get tired of dreams, even though they're very cool? I used to have sometimes 3 to 5 dreams a night myself.
Yeah, Denise used to dream a lot. She would have 3, 4, 5 dreams a night.
I like dreams.
She is now getting back to remembering her dreams again after a long time of not remembering them. She's having more dreams that she remembers. She doesn't get tired of it. We like talking about our dreams in the morning. Because that's the stuff that God is talking about. Is JFK Jr. alive? Deborah, I don't know. Is he? I have no way of knowing. Thoughts on Venezuela? Oh gosh, Venezuela is a mess. I saw that they had arrested this resistance guy who was threatening to basically pull a coup against the communist guy who was elected. And it looks like it was actually staged for the TV cameras. This guy's arrest was staged for the TV cameras. Venezuela has some big problems. They need to get their act together. I don't know when that's going to happen. Venezuela and Argentina are both in a bad situation. It would be good to pray for them. Who went to China? Judy Moran. That is a very good question. You know, I was sitting here thinking for the last couple of days, I wonder if Dianne Feinstein went to China. Because it's not someone that you would find in the news. Whoever it was, they kind of left and went there secretly. Now, an admiral did go to China. Today is the 13th. He actually got there this morning. I saw on Twitter. An admiral went to China. He flew in today, and he is going to be part of a delegation that's going to be talking to China about their military and trying to cool down the escalation of the military conflict in the South China Sea. The problem with that guy being the one that Q was talking about is that Q posted that on the 11th, and this admiral said he just got there this morning on the 13th. So I don't think it was the admiral. It could have been Dianne Feinstein. Q has dropped pictures of Dianne Feinstein in China previously. There was that one car picture, and Q asked us to look at the license plate and see, what we could figure out about that car. Basically suggested that Dianne Feinstein was driving that car in China, and that they were that they had her under surveillance. So it wouldn't surprise me if that picture at the airport was another Dianne Feinstein picture. Actually, you know what? Joe M. posted a picture today on Twitter of a woman who was in that crowd of people in that picture, and one of the Anons did some enhancement of that photo, and it came out looking quite a lot like Dianne Feinstein, actually. So I don't know. I don't know who that China person is. I'm kind of leaning toward Dianne Feinstein. Who is GJ? GJ is grand jury. That in that current Q drop today, GJ is just short for grand jury. Q says that there are grand juries that are impaneled around the country. They're hearing testimony about the crimes of the deep state, and that would be under the direction of John Huber and the mystery U.S. attorney who has been given the same mandate. Who is Joe? Joe is Joe M. If you go on Twitter and just look for his handle is Storm is Upon Us. He goes by Joe M, but his handle is at Storm is Upon Us. He's the guy who did the video. Those 2 Q videos about the storm and that are wakening people up. Those are actually his videos, well-known videos. So he's on Twitter. You can follow him. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. Are Patriots in charge? Why, yes, they are, actually. Who is Joe really, though? I don't know. I don't know who Joe is, really. Yeah, the Save the World video. Yeah, the Plan to Save the World video. That's it. Thanks. Be more. Do lights on mean truth and info will be coming out soon? I believe so. I believe things that have been hidden in darkness are coming to light. I think that's what that means. The unredacted FISA. Yeah, the president said in his interview last night with Judge Jeanine, this is one of the reasons why you should listen to it. He talked about the FISA declassification, and he said, I'm thinking about it. If it's necessary, he is going to declass and release the unredacted FISA. So we have to just wait on that. Why are chemtrails still rolling? I don't know. Sorry about that. I really don't know about chemtrails. Not my area of expertise. Yeah, it is interesting times for sure. Okay, She Lives for Jesus. Hey, Praying Medic, been following you for about 18 months. Now that you make Q make sense for me, you keep on doing God's work. You are in my prayers. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You know what?
Wrap it up so we can have dinner.
Yeah. Let's see. I should be wrapping this up here. Okay. That is all. You know what? I'm having fun doing this. Now that I've got the software and the hardware figured out, you're going to see more news updates from me in the future. All right? Cool. I am going to end this stream. Love you all. Take care. Keep the president in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep Denise and I in prayer. Thank you for sharing this out on social media. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Listen to this bald guy. So be encouraged, Patriots. Keep us in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep the president in prayer. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing this on social media. That is all I have for you on this update. This is Praying Medic signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.